Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to my Chill House channel. This is Jason here. Welcome to all viewing, whether you're new here or you've been a subscriber for a while. Welcome to you all as well. If it's your first time, welcome. In my last video, I talked about the how the balance between the feminine and the masculine are completely compromised in especially today's American culture and society, where, and it's true, you look at the divorce rates, you look at the Me Too movement, you look at the feminism movement, and the toxic masculinity movement, there's that, and then there's just us guys in the middle. Some of us have just completely stepped away from relationships and women as a whole completely, and a lot of us in the semen retention community, some of you guys may be married or in a relationship, and you're trying to find balance with your partner with that, and it just sometimes you have to find that place in your life, whether or not you're even ready for that or not. And I'm wondering if y'all can hear that outside. I actually went out into my backyard, because I had mentioned before, and I like filming, I like making my videos outside in the fresh air. It is still really hot outside. We just had a rainstorm move through, so there is kind of an overcast left over. But the neighbors behind me have got are chainsawing and making all kinds of racket back there. So I didn't want that to be a distraction. So I came back in. But at any rate, for today's video, I wanted to talk about the demonic Jezebel spirit. I have to tell you guys, and you may not like it, but as we grow and the longer we do semen retention and we become the men that we want to become the men that God wants us to be, we're going to attract women. Now, that means all kinds of women. Good women, bad women. They're going to come at you. As for me, I got along in my very, very first major streak, and I was getting some female attraction, but I knew I wasn't ready for it, and I'm just not ready to navigate that kind of thing. I have to focus on me. I have to focus on becoming the man I need to be. I have a future, I have plans, I have goals that I want to accomplish. And to me, if I have the wrong woman in my life and I make compromises to what I'm doing, then that can completely derail me, and I am not interested in that. So, but I wanted to gather. I through my life, I've been with some women. Okay, I've been with some women that were not good for me, and I wasn't good for her. I, as a man who was depleted of his life force, didn't really have the backbone to stand up for myself, to say no when I needed to say no, or I didn't have the backbone to leave when I should have just left. And I stuck around, and she stuck around, and things just got worse and worse and worse. But I do believe that a woman who is, in touch with her feminine nature will feel safe with a man who is in his masculine nature. But as we go and as we grow into this semen retention journey, we're becoming that man, but there's no guarantee that you're going to get that good woman right away. And I gotta tell you, these demonic Jezebel spirits will still come after you. They still want your seed. That you are more attractive to them than a man who is drained. And a lot of these women, they're not really out to cultivate a relationship with you. They are out to extract from you and drain you of your energy, your resources, everything. These women who want control. A lot of these women have daddy issues. Daddy left when she was young, and single mother raised her up to believe that all men were evil. And it's true, there's some bad men out there too. But I would think that most of us in our semen retention journey are men who want to better themselves for that good woman that comes along, or the wife that they already have, the girlfriend they already have. And if she's in touch with her feminine nature, she's going to understand and respect that, and they're going to be able to grow with it. So, but anyway, these women with the demonic and Jezebel spirits, they're not always going to be the feminists. They're not always going to have all the tattoos and the blue hair and the septum piercings. I mean, we've all heard about the septum ring theory. I'm sure you've heard about it, where these women are just so out of touch with reality, and they're just out to extract in any way they can. I just know that those women, and I used to be attracted to them. I used to be attracted to the nerdy, curvy woman with piercings and tattoos. I used to be that guy. And yeah, talk about toxic. In the end, I found out the hard way, very toxic. But she doesn't always look like that. The woman with the Jezebel spirit doesn't always look like that. She could be the woman who goes to church every time the doors open. She dresses, like she respects herself. She's not revealing anything. She dresses nice. She has a successful career, and she's doing well for herself. And she doesn't have any piercings. She doesn't have any tattoos. I think those are the ones you got to worry about the most. Because eventually I did get away from the girl with the tattoos and the piercings, and married what I thought was supposed to be a good woman with a good head on her shoulders. And a lot of times that did not work out. Well, it didn't work out at all. I'm single right now. So I'm here to tell you, and what I want to do, the purpose of this video here is I want to, like, with the experiences that I've had with women, I kind of see what a lot of these women are. I listen to other men and their experiences with these women. For one thing, she just doesn't seduce you just sexually. She will seduce you emotionally. And once she has you by the balls with both of those, you might be looking for trouble. Like, we'll just talk about my second wife. Yeah, I was married twice. And I should have saw this red flag right away. Like right after I met her. We had been talking for a couple of weeks, and then we got together for a date. We went to a coffee shop, we sat down, we had a nice time together, and walked away from that date feeling pretty good about a second date. So for the second date, I invited her over to my place for dinner. And when she came over, she wasn't in my apartment for 10 minutes. And she went back to my bedroom and laid down on my bed. She was fully clothed, but she knew what she was doing. And the next thing you know, I'm in there with her. And of course, you know what happened from there on the second date. So it was that moment that she ensnared me. So if a woman seduces you sexually, and especially if the sex is really, really good, she's got her hooks in you right there. And then what can happen? She puts on this front. She will listen to you, and you become vulnerable when you're like physically drained, and after you've done giving her your seed, you are obviously physically drained. So therefore, your guard falls, and she will listen to you go on about your past hurts, your past traumas, your abusive parents, all these things that happened to you when you were a kid, blah blah blah, and she will listen to you. She will nod, and she will hug you, and she will kiss you, and she will make you feel safe in her presence to be vulnerable. Guys, she acts like she has your back, but she doesn't. She's calculating. She's reeling you in. Don't do this. Don't do this. Just keep it to yourself. I figured, I think I've learned up to this point now. It's like, okay, you know what? If I ever get into this situation again, she's not going to know about my past. Basically what I will tell her is like, yeah, I kind of had a rough childhood, blah, blah, blah. But I'm past that. I've grown up. I'm moving on. Because once you get deeper into this semen retention journey, you learn to deal with that past. Because all of this, because you buried the pain through sex, you buried the pain through corn and masturbation, and you've buried that pain with that. But now that you don't have that outlet anymore, you have to deal with it. You have to come to a place where you are like, okay, it's time to move on. The past is the past. I am concerned about my present and concerned about my future, where I'm going, the goals I've set, the boundaries I've set, and I'm moving on. Because if you show a woman your vulnerability, if you show her that ugly past of yours, because I'm sure a lot of us have it, a lot of us didn't grow up, on Family Ties. A lot of us didn't grow up in a strong, caring, household with stable parents. Especially a lot of us out of Gen X. So I have to say, we have a checkered past. But when a woman knows that, she knows you're vulnerable, and that's how she gets the second hook into you. Once she has that, you're finished. You are absolutely finished. Don't do this. Work on your junk. Get rid of the junk in your trunk. I have to do it myself, and I think that as we go through our semen retention journey, we have to do it for ourselves, and that way we are able to be stronger in a relationship with a female. And she'll do the same. Here's how she gets another hook into you. When you're having these conversations with her, she'll do the same. She'll talk about her trauma, because all women have a trauma. All women have daddy issues. They've come out of their own abusive relationships, whether they were really truly abusive or not, you never know. But a lot of times, I know one thing about this Jezebel spirit and these women who are emotionally and mentally unstable, they always play the victim. Even if they're not. Sure, a lot of them were abused, and a lot of them were in toxic abusive relationships, but a woman doesn't have to come out of a toxic abusive situation to play the victim. Now, when that woman plays the victim and she turns on the waterworks, she is pulling more energy out of you. Your sympathy for her and your kindness and your compassion, and you're like, and then it's in that moment you feel like you're the man that's going to be her her protector. I'll keep you safe, baby. I love you. And then she acts like she's relaxing and letting down her guard in your presence. And if she does that, okay, whatever. You can't stop her from doing that. But as far as you yourself and as far as me, I can't do that anymore. I cannot do that anymore. So yeah, I've had some issues in my life. I've made some mistakes, but I'm focusing on my future, and that's it. Leave it at that. Because it's in that, in that moment you lower your guard and you begin to trust her. And it's that moment that she has you under her control. So be careful out there, man. But in that moment when she's got those hooks in you, she will use your vulnerability. I mean, you could be going along, having a good day, and then she walks in, and especially if you live with her, whatever, and she sees a sock in the corner that missed the clothes hamper, and it's your sock, and she gets all wound up about it, and she gets upset about it, and then you're going back and forth, and then she remembers that past. She remembers your traumas and your vulnerabilities, and she's going to remember all those mistakes that you told her about that you've made in the past. Don't put it past her. She will do that. So yeah, it's in the moments of that strife and argument, she'll use it all against you. So once she's got these hooks in you, and especially if you're sexually active with her, then you're going to become more effeminate. You're draining your seed. You're giving her that sexual energy, and you're giving her that emotional energy, and you're becoming weaker and effeminate. And then at some point, and I've been in this situation before, where you just get so sick and tired of the arguments and the back and forth that you just try to, as the saying goes, go along to get along. And then there's a lot of that. There's that other simpy expression out there that says, happy wife, happy life. And I'm sorry, folks, but that doesn't work. That just shows you are simpy and you're weak and you're effeminate and you don't have the backbone to stick up for yourself and lead as that true masculine leader in your relationship and marriage. So with that else, let me go on. So, and then once and this is funny too, because I found myself doing this. So you're weak, you're effeminate, you're going along to get along, you're tired all the time, you're giving her your nut, you don't have the energy. And then once she has that control over you, and at some point along the way, you blow a head gasket. You decide that it's like, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of her BS. I'm tired of being controlled like this. I'm tired. I either want to get out of this relationship, or I'm just going to get upset and call her out on her bullshit. So you do. You call her out. And then this is where a lot of manipulation comes in. She'll turn on the waterworks. Oh, you're abusive. You're manipulating her. How dare you talk to her in that tone of voice? And then when that happens, and then she calls her mother, and then she gets on social media, and she's got, single women who don't even know her wanting to give her advice and all these different things, and then she leaves or doesn't leave, and your whole relationship just is that much more toxic. And she'll turn on that waterworks to disarm you, and then you're like, oh, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to yell at you. I didn't mean to, I don't want to fight with you. And she knows how to do that. She knows how to do that. If she doesn't have daddy issues or whatever, and she was brought up in a home to, where she's just treated as this little princess, and the waterworks will get her whatever she wants. She'll use that, even as an adult. Many of these women are just nothing more than grown children, and she will cry to get what she wants. And she knows exactly what she's doing. Let's see what else. So then you're just stuck in this vicious cycle of abuse and chaos. She's abusing you. You're the aggressor. You're the man. You're bigger. You're abusing her and her mind. And that can really, and if you love her, you'll do this and this and this and this and this. That's another one. There are so many different ways a woman will manipulate a man. And then at that point, it's like, say this all happened, but a lot of men, including myself, and I found myself in this situation, you've been with this woman for 6-8 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. And then it's at that point where you're not happy in the relationship, but you don't want to leave because you will see that all this time, money, and energy, and all this that you've invested in her would be a waste. There's got to be a way to salvage it. There's got to be a way to make it better. But at that point, guys, that relationship is over. It's over before it even ends. She has other voices chirping in her ears. She has social media. She cries to mommy. Mommy says to leave him. Her daddy says, hey, he's not good for you. You better leave him. And eventually, she's going to leave you anyway. Or you might grow the sack to leave her. And then even after that, then you have to heal from that. And then you have to rebuild your life and create a new life for yourself and create a new structure for yourself. And that's painful. I've been through it. I know. I've been through this so many times. But then I was depleted of my life force. And I didn't have the balls. I didn't have the backbone to recognize this behavior right away when I first meet these women. Because they start out, it always starts out, she's nice and soft and she's sweet and she's attentive. She gives you, lots of great sex. It's on a daily basis. She's affectionate and all these things. But that's how she reels you in. She casts out that line. Once she's got you hooked, she starts reeling you in. And once you're reeled in, once she got you hooked in, dude, and then once you're depleted and weak, she's got you right where she wants you. She has got you under her control. And that is not the kind of woman you want in your life. So, like I said, as we are on our semen retention journey, guys, we are able to improve ourselves. We are able to grow that backbone. We are able to set those firm boundaries and keep them. So, with that said, pretty simple video, I guess, straightforward. Just look out, guys, because those women are out there, and they're out there to drain you in every way possible. They're out there to make themselves look like the innocent little victim, the little princess, and make you out to be the aggressor and the narcissist asshole. And I've been called that. So, and being a drained simp, yeah, you can be that narcissist asshole. Once you grow a backbone and once you and once that moment that you finally wake up and grow that sack and you're like, okay, enough, I've had enough, we're not doing this anymore. You're either going to shape up and we're going to come together and fix this, or we're going to end this. And that's just what makes it worse. You better be, when you say that, dude, you better be prepared to walk. you better be prepared to like, okay, sayonara, lady, I'm out of here, whatever, I'm done. But like I said, as we grow into this journey in semen retention and we start to grow a spine and have more respect for ourselves, we're going to be stronger in a relationship with a woman. And she may come to us broken or whatever, but if we're standing in our true masculinity, if she doesn't warm up to that, if she doesn't, I don't want to use the phrase fall in line because that's kind of mean, but really that's what it is. She's either going to fall in line, she's going to respect your boundaries, she's going to respect you, or she isn't. And when she doesn't, you'll recognize that. And it's like, okay, this has ran its course. We're done here. See you, bye. So, and as I've grown into this semen retention journey, especially into this second streak, it's like, yeah, I'm reminded of this because in my first streak, I was growing into this, and then I allowed myself to compromise on things, and I relapsed, of course. And now I recognize what caused me to relapse. You know, I had my ex blowing up my phone from time to time, and I ignored her for about a month, but eventually I was like, ooh, you know, because I had even compromised on pornographic sites. And it's like, man, one little peek won't hurt. You know, edging myself. It's like the devil will put lust in your mind. The devil will plant the seed, but how we respond, and I've said this over and over again, and it might sound like a broken record, but that's fine, I don't care. How we respond to that, we either cut it off and move on to the next thing, we transmute that energy, we do our breathing exercises, we squeeze it up instead of out and down. That's the idea. We have to do that. Because if we entertain it, well, we make some compromises along the way and we entertain that lust and we entertain edging, and then eventually, hey, that ex, you know, she's been wanting to see you, and then you're like, well, she was good in bed, so yeah, let's get some of that. And that's what I did. And I can sit here and beat myself up over it, but I can't do that. I don't advise anybody to do that. Just pick yourself up and move on. But I stayed in that mud for 2 months. I was sleeping with my ex every day for 2 weeks. And she was starting to try to sink those hooks in again. And it's like, I was able to recognize it again. It's like, wow, this is the same shit that happened the first time. Get out. Dude, I had to block her. And she hasn't come to my place, so that's good. But yeah, the fallout of that wasn't fun. But anyway, I hope you all got something out of this. You know, I got something out of this because I have to remind myself. You know, I have to remind myself of this daily. All right, what do I want versus what I'll allow to happen when I don't have my guard up, when I'm not solid in my foundation, and when I'm not strong in my boundaries. So, with that said, have a good day, guys. Hope you got something out of it, and we'll talk next time.